Luftzone markiert.
Welcome back to another Fight Tuesday, everyone. We are gonna be looking at this match. Gonna start it up right now. Alright, here we go.
I got orders, boys.
So we have myself playing on the US forces, Aaron also playing US forces, and then we have Weismann playing as the OST, and BK playing as the Oberkommando. So everyone's kind of doing their own little things. Not much going on. Standard play across the board. Kubel riflemen's across US forces, and the MG coming out. Not gonna see the barracks coming out on the OST side, so we're gonna see double MG. Double MG is I don't think it's a very standard play. It makes your pushing potentials very static. It slows down the overall ability to take the map, but it does punish players for being overly aggressive. So especially for the US forces, where they like to throw their riflemen in, you can actually punish that with using the multiple NGs covering each other back to back. So we're gonna have first engagement here. Rear escalons actually do quite well when they're close range, and as you can see, the stern piles are actually not behind cover, so they're actually getting full direct fire from the REs. So that's what they will lose models fairly quickly. So another push on my on the cutoff. Multiple MGs are holding the cutoff location. We have barracks being built now at the 2-minute mark. Riflemen are taking their positions. And Aaron is rotating, so it is actually a good thing that he is rotating, because this is actually the field point that we on the top side should be holding. Some more concentration needs to be built on around this cutoff. Grand mortar is coming out, so no Grands, double Pio and double MG, holding large portions of the cutoff location. Small engagements across the board. And we have medical supplies. I haven't seen medical supplies used as often, mostly because I haven't played Oberkommando. But since the patch has been made, I think the medical supplies are a lot more effective. So going for a more static play from the OST, without the Grens they really can't really push. They kind of have to rely on the motor teams and the MGs to be able to push very incrementally slowly up this lane. Piles moving in the middle. We have the Volksgrenadiers, and we're gonna have a supply truck coming out fairly soon. And the look of the supply truck, it seems like he is going for gonna be medical. You would probably buy one more Volks, I think, if you were waiting for mechanized. So still holding the gas point, but I am getting pressured very fairly a lot by the cutoff location. So this is where, if you're playing on top, the ally does have to hold the middle section so that you can have this lane at least covered. So that there isn't as much pressure being placed on the cutoff location. But we are kind of playing split in a way, because Aaron is being pressured on both sides of the axis, and I am not able to support Aaron because he is on the farther side of middle. So medical is going to go up for Oberkommando. Probably going to see a much heavier pressure presence on the cutoff because it's fairly close. He's going to be reinforcing very soon. 2 MGs and a motor team is being placed here. Very interesting play for OST, honestly. Double MGs is... It can be effective, but it is extremely countered by the motor teams. So I'm gonna go for Captain, and we're gonna see Captain come out for Aaron as well. AT gun is on the field now, so we're gonna be seeing that. Take out the Kubel, hopefully. Now, as I've realized that I am fighting against an Oberkommando who has the base really fairly close, so he is putting a lot more pressure on here, and in most aspects you will notice that this is a losing battle. Regardless of how many victory points you have, the constant pressure and bleeding on me in this location is quite high, and I will have to readjust. You need to be able to readjust this position or defensible and make it more defensible so that you can not be bleeding as hard from the constant replenishing of his units, because he is able to get onto this point a lot quicker than I can. And I have no way of countering this position without the motor support. So in this case we have Aaron being pushed back because of the multiple MGs and the motor teams being placed around the area. We do have a 2-2 on the field, so Aaron's gonna have to fight that. ISG is also on the field, putting rounds down range. AT guns being placed on here, hunting for the Kubel. One direct hit in the front. Alright, this gets another one. Kubel goes down, and we do have... So we're gonna see one more Volks was built, and the ISG is on the field putting rounds in the back lines. 2-2 is doing wipe the motor team, unfortunately. And we're gonna have the almost full control of the map from the Axis forces. Holding cutoff away from us, so we do have a delay in our income for fuel.
Heavy machine gun team ready for battle.
So I do buy the medical ambulance. In the long run, it will help me to maintain my units. And Overcommando does have his medical station up with medics, and he is going to be able to replenish his units and heal them, and be able to put a three-man push on this position at all times, pretty much.
Enemy infantry!
We'll have to see what happens and how I get out of this situation. Now this is where Aaron, your teammate who is playing the right side of the top location, needs to be able to put pressure here. So putting pressure here makes this place puts this place in jeopardy, and it compromises his ability to reinforce and heal peacefully, undisturbed. But because of the absence of Aaron, there is a lack of pressure on this location, and it makes him able to replenish. Aaron is gonna rotate. I guess this is a losing battle on this side because of the multiple MGs. So now he's moving in, and now the Oprah command player does see this, so he has to relocate his men. This is a very strong push coming out from Aaron. This gives me a lot more breathing room. Seeing the extent of the pushing potential from BK, I had to go for the infantry company because I know that I will need to be able to counter this eventually in the long run. Countering this, you have to use the priest. Any type of indirect fire, especially for howitzers, are going to be really effective on over commando buildings, just because if you can jeopardize and put pressure on the area, the medics won't be able to heal. So there is going to be a few second delay before they can actually heal. So there is a time when they need to be out of combat. Also, killing medics with the howitzer actually slows down because it takes them about 10 seconds or so to come back from the medical building. So pretty strong push. Does make the overcommand BK has to respect the areas, the positionings. So we do have the motor half track putting down range down. Motor half track for the Americans, I feel like, is a lot more effective than the motor teams that the Americans have. Because I can fire this weapon on the move, like as you can see, it does fire that round, even if it's on move. And you can do so by commencing the attack and then pressing, reversing it, and it will actually have that round go down. So we have telemines coming out. Aaron is pushing out, but he is struggling to maintain a position. I am continuously holding this location so that I can eventually branch out into the fuel point that we have here. We do have a telemine, mine out, a swear mine, a shoe mine. And now they have relocated and pushing into middle, so that is to hold off Aaron from countering and jeopardizing this location. Because of the relocation, now Aaron is able to move in and swoop in for the cutoff location. Because most of his units are setup crews, so they have to relocate constantly, and they're unable to really keep up with the mobility of the US forces. However, it does lead me into a really sticky situation. I do have to maintain pressure on my own against BK, who has a stronger backline, honestly. So I'm gonna use the motor half track as my only way, and I do get one wipe here, one Volks Grenadier wipe. As long as I can keep lead on him, I will be able to maintain pressure on this location. So we do have the pack heli from Aaron, who is providing support, so that's good. I do go for the pack howie. This was a very improvised call. The reason being is because I am behind on gas, and then the timing of in the course of the match, in the current situation of the match, I am forced to kind of make that decision to go for the pack howie, just because I know that they have more fuel and they're more likely to get tanks out fairly soon. And you can see this through the P4. So I'm gonna have to stall and try to bleed more manpower out of them so that it can slow down their advances. In terms of countering P4s or early aggression of the vehicles, you have to utilize the 57s. So PK is gonna push out again, putting heavier pressure on the lanes. So I do go for the bunker. Bunker will help me to maintain the position so that I can have some insurance. The pack is gonna fire. It's gonna get one good shot off, and he's gonna go for the steal, I think. No, he's not gonna go for steal. He goes for steal. Oh, and the pack guy does get all 4 of the models. Really unfortunate loss there. So PK did lose 2 of his bulks so far. I believe the Weismann has only lost 1 of his bios. P4 is on the field, so that's gonna put a lot more pressure on Aaron. Regain control to 57. We do need that unit. Do have a Command Panther from BK, which I was suspecting some type of vehicle presence way before we are able to mount vehicles, and I am going for Major now. So we do have the Command Panther coming out. He's looking to kill the half track, and I actually hear this when him approaching. And I do relocate the 57, but it was too late by that time because the Panther's too quick. So I do get the snare off of him, but I don't have enough time to do enough damage. The 57, unfortunately. But I do save the crew, so the crew will help me to repair the bunkers and the other emplacements I will be putting up fairly soon. Now strong push, strong defensible positions for the OST. Honestly, this was a game that they really had in the bag because of the amount of gas and the map control that they had throughout the match. Even with the infantry losses, their units would overcome and surpass my units by the shield veterancies. But he does go loose for another Volksgrenadier here, unfortunately. So BK is lost 3 Volksgrenadiers. And I believe he lost his, he's also lost his Raptor Warfare as well, so he has no AT options except for the Panther. And we do have a flag now out for OST, for Weismann, and the P4 as well. Strong backline, 2 MGs, pack, and a motor, all support crews, putting a lot of death and destruction onto Aaron's fronts. And they are pushing on to destroy my little defensible position that I set up here. And the only thing really holding this position together is the bunker. The 50 cal is ultimately the only thing that's keeping them from overrunning this position. Now that actually doesn't relocate, doesn't target this location instead of the actual house. And this will, if he doesn't do this soon, then it will slow down his progress. Aaron does have his own 57, which is great. Command Panther is trying to get some hits off, but there's really no vehicles here to kill except for the bunker. I have double 57s now on the field. Oh no, I have one Wreck and Warfare and then one 57. So I do have two AT options to counter the Panther. Aaron's gonna push back onto middle, which is a smart play. Now I have the Major on the field and I am gonna go for... I think I'm gonna go for the some type of vehicle since I do have the Major out. But at this point I am putting the mines down since I have recognized that he is using the side lane to get into the back lines of the Panther. So I'm gonna put on the mines to slow him down. Now Aaron is doing a great job in holding and putting pressure on the OST to stay on his side of the map. So he's out of this middle section. Two vehicles for the OSTs, but the 57 seems to be putting some pressure on that unit. So BK is going to put pressure onto this lane. He wants the field point back, trying to cut it off from me.
A gun crew has been lost.
57, Pack Howie does get rid of the MG in the backline, which is great. I am sending a RE to take that gun as well. And then we have a supply truck outside now. So I think we're gonna be seeing, with the amount of gas he's holding, looks like he needs more breathing room in middle. So I think he's gonna have to go for the swear pretty soon. Now the P4 is coming around, probably looking to get rid of some of these positions, but he does step on a mine, so he is going to be hit by a rifle grenade as well. Let's put some extra damage on him. Command Panther is behind him to give him cover. And we do have the Swear coming down in the middle, so Swear is going to keep this position at least secured, so that's going to give them more breathing room. We have a Stug now on the field. So 3 vehicles out on the OST side. We do have a priest on the field now. So the priest will provide me with the ability to pressure this location without having to go deep into this area right here. So priest is going to be putting some rounds on range. So very heavy push here coming out from the OST. I mean the Oberkommando. Going for another 57 on my side. This will help me to be able to deal with this majority of vehicles here. Oh, the Black Panther is down. It is destroyed. So great. That's good. Now he's forced to retreat. I think he hasn't bought the retreat point actually. He has not. So he's just retreating for everyone back to base and then holding at that location. The Weismann is coming out on the field. Yeah, Packout is actually putting pressure on the medical building here. So we do have a lot of indirect fire units. This is where the lack of actual indirect fire units from the Axis forces is gonna punish them in the long run. Because even though they have a vehicle advantage, they aren't able to counter the backline of the units. Because there's too many 57s blocking, guarding the indirect fire units. So Stuka is needed here. Yeah, Stuka or a Warfer. Any of those units would be great to be able to put pressure on these positions. Pack Howies, even putting pressure on the priest itself. ISGs, I feel, is not a particularly good option. Doesn't really, it does put pressure on them, but it's not strong enough. So we do have 4 57s looking downrange here. So he does try to get back the the Black Panther, but he does go down. Command Panther, Panzer IV, and the Stug is roaming across the field now, looking for some openings. Cracks in the armor. And this medical building is going to go down fairly soon. Pack Howies are putting a lot of pressure on them. And he isn't able to counter these Pack Howies. So this will be going down fairly soon. Priest is going to put the final nail in the coffin, I believe. Oh no, he's going to put the final over here. So this is where the priest is pretty good. It's great because it provides you an option to punish them from behind even without having to go all the way in. As long as you're able to maintain pressure on the actual fronts, the priest is going to have free reign on to punishing the Oberkommando's backlines. Now this fires every 40 seconds. So every 40 seconds there's going to be 5 howitzer rounds coming down range. Which pretty much jeopardizes this location as being safe. And in the long run it actually disrupts the Oberkommando's ability to really push decisively. Because the units are always going to be hurt or needing support, and they can't stay around this area. So we're gonna have to see more pressure from me now. I do have a higher amount of infantry now. Misplay by me, moving my priests up front. We do have the Weismann coming in, trying to go for the kill here with his vehicles. Does get the Pack Howie, but he is looking to kill the Calliope. Isn't able to, and he's gonna have to back off because of the 57s coming in. So yeah, I do have 57s on all fronts of this map pretty much in the middle, so he is gonna have to be able to deal with that. So Priest is working on this position, and now we have control. I'm going to be using the 57s to destroy the square. Axis has a lot of units and a lot of vehicles, but they aren't able to destroy the backline, the howitzers and the 57s. This is where Stukas need to be built, and the 3EP is trying to go for a Stuka at this point. He has the gas, but he's bleeding. He's bleeding a lot, and he's not able to purchase unless he slows down his advances so that he can save. We still have the command pattern, and we have the P4. Another P Grand coming out for Weismann. Aaron is relocating his 57. He has a pretty strong backline. Stewart is still on the field. I believe yeah. Calipy is still on the field as well.
Sector.
So the 57s are going to be relocated here. Stewart's pushing off the P-Grens. And that unit is... P-Grens aren't going to be able to counter that unit with no Sumer or anything. So honestly the Stewart is a great unit to counter that. So overs are moving in across the map. They get one off before the square went down. So a lot of vehicle support still here for the Weismann. He's gonna go for a kill here. And Aaron is collapsing slowly. Stewart does go down, but the Slug does get away. So a good pick off there from Weismann. But I think he is lacking actual units to hold the lanes. Especially against... actually, I think Aaron has lost most of his units. Oh no, actually he has the 3 riflemen, which is fine. Yeah, she's fine. So do you have the 57s coming down, putting pressure on the Panther.
We're losing a capture point.
Now the priest is on the field real close. But I do go for the gamble. He put rounds real close onto this location. So P4 is going to push up all these units. It's a huge mass retreat for Aaron. I'm regaining control of the location, putting mines down.
One of our capture points. We lost our supply line is cut. Germans are making a push.
So Panther is going to go for the kill here. And this was an unfortunate play for me because I probably shouldn't have put my priest as close, especially with Panthers on the field. Now we do have the Weismann going in with 2 of the tanks, and the riflemen are not going to be doing anything. And Aaron does lose one of his riflemen, so he does lose one, unfortunately. And Weismann does have full control of this location, so Aaron is collapsed. So I'm gonna have to relocate into middle and secure this location as well. Now BK is bleeding quite hard, and he's I think he's going to save until he gets Stuka. Stuka is the only unit here that will be able to punish all this. We'll keep an eye out if he does get the Stuka. Last tier is built, so Weismann does have access to the last tier units. But at this point of the match, we do have a pretty strong defensive line, but one Stuka barrage can actually kill all of these units. So
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
So I do go for a Jackson at this point because I do need a more flexible option than the 57 to take care of the Panther. So he's going for Stuka. He's realized that he needs Stuka now, so there is a lot of units that can be punished. Jackson is on the field, and there is a lot of mines actually on the field, so this lane is pretty much is off limits for the Panthers. Control of the map for Weismann is pretty strong. There's a Jackson on the field. But actually, in reality, Weismann actually does not have enough units to cover parts of the map, and he has relocated most of his units to the other side of the map. So Aaron does have an easy pass into this location without having to be contested. The Panther is gonna go around, I guess? Or no, he's not gonna go around. We have canopy fires coming down on this location. So strong united push here, trying to regain control of the gas point. At this point the gas really doesn't make a difference because a lot of everyone really has the gas already and the vehicles are already on the field. If anyone loses any of these vehicles, the game is pretty much over for them. You won't see another vehicle because of the manpower drain on both sides across the aisle. So we're gonna see a mass retreat for Weismann. The only thing that really holding this area is 3 vehicles. So if the Jackson is able to push off, then it should be able to punish all these vehicles.
Rocket vehicle has arrived.
It's funny how the captain is actually using the 30. So we do have 3 vehicles here still, and we do have a Panzer Warfare now, so it's interesting. Yeah, he cancelled. Not sure why he cancelled actually. So Stuka is on the field. I think he did get off 1 shot, so it shot off somewhere, I'm not sure where. I think it shot off right here. Overcounter units is max veterancy 5. So his units are veteran. Command Panther is moving across the field. So the priest is putting rounds down range. I am gonna be guarding it heavier now after losing it, so so the Command Panther does see it and he is gonna try to go for it, but there is mines on the field in the middle of the area. So he does get caught, unfortunately. So we do have Command Panther going out, and I do see that. I know he's out there somewhere. So Jackson is gonna go for a kill here. Gets 1 shot off at the Stuka here. A bounce, a reflection. Gonna get one more shot off here. Let's go through. Nice. So the Jackson does get the kill here.
Our supply lines have been cut. Americans are making a push.
Now he does have an option to save and then go for another command pattern, which might be okay, but it will drain him and slow down his vehicle progress. I mean his infantry progress. The more units he loses, he will eventually not have enough manpower to actually hold out. So we will, I believe there was a huge vehicle fight here. Command Panther and the Stug has went down. We have the P4 coming back from repairs. I think the 57 and the Jackson did get that unit.
Target neutralized. Enemy rounds. Keep your heads down.
So there is rounds coming down in this location. Putting pressure on that building area. Oh, I do get wipe here. Nice.
Lost a squad of infantry. Orders complete.
He is using the flare and the Stuka.
We are at 200 points.
So they go for a bunker position. I am actually capped out almost, so most of my units are not unable to really replenish to full. So Brumbar is out on the field, very interesting choice. I guess the infantry is becoming a problem for him, so he does need the Brumbar. But the Brumbar is heavy, but it really requires support, AT support to be able to survive. Two Jacksons on the field, so and two 57s. So that Brumbar is not going anywhere, any close. Now another mass retreat.
King Tiger ready.
And these mass retreats are really costing them because they're really forced to make that retreat back. You have the King Tiger on the field now as a last resort. So Dub Jackson coming out. One of them's vet 2, so those units are really gonna be putting a lot of pressure on this P4. Strong counter. With a pack support, it's not really gonna go very far. P4 goes down. Now the Brumbar is really in a danger spot. So Weismann does tap out, so he's out after he has lost the P4, and there's really nothing he can really do. His manpower is pretty drained, and he doesn't have any gas. King is the only thing on the field that's threatening on this field, but there is a lot of 57s. So we're not going to be seeing the King Tiger really going anywhere, honestly. He's going to be able to pick off some units. But it is behind this strong, this tree. So we are gonna see this King Tiger. Not sure what he's gonna do. And he does tap out after that point. So That was a very interesting game. Great turnaround though. From that entire match, I think the allies actually didn't hold a large portion of the map and I had to inch my way through each part of the engagements to be able to go and regain control of the cutoff and the gas point. But I think the ultimate unit that kind of turned the tides was the priest. The priest put a lot of pressure on the backlines, and it made the PK unable to replenish his units comfortably. But I think Aaron also held his own. Definitely got enough Jacksons and AT options to really take care of the OST. Because if the OST had moved into my area, I think I would have folded. I wouldn't have been able to hold out against that many vehicles because I had just enough to take care of BK. A very much evenly distributed army value. I think this was the Panther that went down. Now the 57, yeah, the 57 is 1,000% almost, 1,500 almost percent of efficiency. So those units as well were the only thing that was holding the Panther back from just overrunning my positions. But thank you guys again for watching this episode of Fight Tuesday. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more Fight Tuesdays. And please let me know in the comments if you do want to see more series of this. I'm not really sure if I will be continuing this, but it seems to be getting good attraction, so we'll continue on. But please do, if you guys have replays, send me the replays and I will put the email in the description below. So thank you again, and I'll see you guys in the next one.